My name is Adam, and this is not a love story with a happy ending. This is a real relationship story, the kind nobody warns you about. I met Lena on a random evening when I wasn't even looking for love. It was raining that day. The kind of rain that makes you feel heavy for no reason. I was sitting in a small cafe near my university, scrolling through my phone, pretending I was busy so I wouldn't feel alone. That's when she walked in, wet hair, annoyed expression, and a broken umbrella. She looked around, frustrated, then laughed at herself. That laugh. I don't know why, but it stayed with me. She sat at the table next to mine. Her phone was dead, and she asked the waiter for a charger. He said they didn't have one. Without thinking, I leaned over and told her she could use mine. She looked at me suspiciously for a second, then smiled and said she promised she wouldn't steal my data. That was our first conversation. Nothing dramatic. Nothing romantic. Just two strangers sharing a charger and small talk about the rain. But sometimes, the most ordinary moments change everything. We didn't exchange numbers that day. But life has a strange way of repeating things that matter. I saw her again a week later at the library. She recognized me first and called me Charger Guy. That became our joke. We started sitting together. Studying. Talking. Sharing music. Complaining about life. Slowly, naturally, without realizing it, she became part of my routine. And that's the dangerous part. Because once someone becomes routine, losing them feels like losing oxygen. She told me about her past: an emotionally distant father, a mother who loved too much, and an ex who taught her not to trust promises. I told her about mine: failed dreams, family pressure, and the fear of not being enough. We weren't flirting. We were healing. Or so we thought. One night around 2 a.m. she texted me saying she couldn't sleep and asked if I was awake. That message changed the direction of everything. We talked for hours. About childhood memories. About fears we never shared with anyone else. About how lonely nights feel longer than days. That night, I realized I cared. Not in a casual way. Not in a she's nice way. I cared in a her pain hurts me way. But I didn't say anything. Because reality teaches you one thing very clearly: the first person to feel more usually loses. Weeks passed. We grew closer. Too close. People around us started noticing and said we were basically a couple. We laughed it off, but deep inside, my heart was already choosing her. One evening, while walking home after class, she suddenly stopped and asked me what we were. I wasn't ready for that question, but my heart was. I told her I didn't know, but I knew I didn't want to lose her. She looked at me for a long moment and said she was scared of relationships, but she felt safe with me. That was enough for me. We didn't officially start dating that night. We just crossed an invisible line. The first few months were perfect. Good morning texts. Late night calls. Shared playlists. Inside jokes no one else understood. Long walks with no destination. She used to rest her head on my shoulder and say she had never felt this calm with anyone. I believed we were different. I believed love like this doesn't break. I was wrong. I didn't notice the change at first. Love doesn't disappear suddenly. It fades quietly, like a song slowly turning into background noise. Lena was still there, but not fully. Her messages became shorter. Her voice on calls sounded tired. And the way she used to look at me slowly disappeared. I kept telling myself I was overthinking. but deep down, I knew something was slipping away. I started adjusting myself for her. If she wanted space, I gave it. If she wanted attention, I stayed awake all night. If she pulled away, I pulled closer. That's when love becomes unhealthy, when one person bends so much they forget their own shape. One evening, I surprised her at her favorite coffee place. She smiled, but it wasn't the smile I was expecting. She told me I should have told her first. That sentence hurt more than rejection, because love shouldn't feel like an inconvenience. A few days later, she finally admitted she felt lost and didn't know what she wanted anymore. I listened quietly even though my chest felt tight. She wasn't cheating. She wasn't lying. She was emotionally tired. She said she cared about me but sometimes felt like she was failing me. I wanted to say she wasn't failing me, she was losing me. But instead, I said we would figure it out. Because love makes you hopeful even when reality is screaming. I noticed something painful. I was always the one starting conversations, planning meetings, fixing misunderstandings. She still replied. She still cared. But she no longer tried. Effort is the loudest form of love. Without it, love becomes just a memory in progress. One night, we argued over something small. I don't even remember what it was. But I remember what she said. She asked why I was always expecting so much from her. That question broke me, because all I was expecting was the same energy she once gave freely. I told her I wasn't asking for too much, just asking her not to disappear. She went silent. Silence is dangerous. It gives you time to imagine the worst. She started needing space. And space is never just space. It's a slow exit with the door half open. Days passed without talking. Then weeks with limited conversations. When we met again, she felt different. Distant. Polite. Careful. Like someone who had already made a decision but didn't know how to say it. One evening, as we sat on a bench we used to love, she finally said she thought I loved her more than she loved me. I didn't argue. Because deep love recognizes truth, even when it hurts. She said she didn't want to hurt me. But sometimes leaving hurts more than staying. And sometimes staying hurts the one who loves deeper.